It's a global crisis. It's a global crisis. It's a global crisis.
One station, 99.9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
We are back. It's 7:45. And we are here with our commentary with Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas, who is already here. Kingsley, good morning.
Morning. What should I say? I'm excited this morning. Why I say that? I found the last couple of days an easy way to come up with a commentary. Just listen to Pigeon and take the lead, because my interest is for people to pay special interest to Pigeon commentary and what is going to be said after his commentary is gone. And this morning I found it quite interesting that some of the, also from his vantage point, which are showing interest in politics. Okay? And what I take out of it, I know there are young people who are showing interest from the European standpoint, and I could talk about Senator Peters and Senator Morgan and Mrs. Beneva Brown, who once did a stint at WEFM. And they seem to be interested in politics. Just imagine some of the young people that Pigeon mentioned this morning showed interest in the NDP. The question you have to ask yourself, what would have the Ralph Gonsalves thought and those young people who are showing interest in politics from an NDP standpoint? And we know what would have been said. Who you dealing with, Ralph Gonsalves. Once he thinks that he has the ability to make an impact, he's going to find ways to discourage it. And that is very, very, very unfortunate, because some of the posters that Pigeon mentioned have interest and will make good politicians. Let's just center around Beneva Brown. If she decides to run for the ULP against Nature Stevenson, Nature is strong because he has a good family background, and the NDP did through Jerry Scott a lot. So waiting there will be like a Luke Brown. Luke Brown won 3 times, Luke Brown is a dynamic post. Luke Brown once tell me that he would like to be Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I made him a promise, if he comes out and makes that statement publicly, I will support him. But he never did. He asked to say the reason why. Because Ralph Gonsalves and Camilo Gonsalves, maybe that can pop it up. Camilo is an interested young man. And let's face facts. He is bright. He can adjust to local politics, regional and international. His father put him in position, so he developed and learned. Any of the persons that Pigeon calls show from the European standpoint, do you see any interest of them being leader or emerge as leader? The ultimate choice will be Camilo Gonsalves because he is qualified. Secondly, because he's Ralph Gonsalves' son. And let me tell you something. He mentioned, me and I call a young man name, I think he referred to Mr. McIntosh, showing interest to become a candidate. That's not the surface. That ain't going to happen at all. Because Luke Brown is not going to give way. Luke Brown still has fancies of becoming the leader of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as Prime Minister. But you have to go past Carmelo Gonsalves and go past Ralph Gonsalves. And Ralph Gonsalves is not going to entertain no threat for his son not being Prime Minister. And so that's why I tell you, Pigeon, you're making my job easier now when I listen to you, because my commentary will center around what you're saying, because what you say most of the time do make sense. And this morning, it's quite interesting that you came up with that theory where you pointed out young people who are showing interest. But here what happened now. In both parties, and the PULP, most likely people hoping that Canada may emerge. And I'm not taking it from him. He has the ability. In the NDP, Dr. Gonsalves, this is an old man at 60. Who most likely to take over the NDP when Dr. Ferry come out of this election and does not win as becoming the Prime Minister? Who Maya Eustace, who I think should replace Daniel Cummins. So it's interesting with the names of persons who we as laymen out there paying attention to. So people may say, well, Kingsley, Senator Peters, Senator Morgan, it's a Beneva Brown. But I don't know how weakness to Senator Morgan. She could do anything, put the Simmons and I go behind her 100%. And like I said to her all the time, I love Ralph Gonsalves because he didn't throw hand on the bus when the NDP had a witch hunt for her. And if it's one thing I want the NDP to win the next election is to see what they have planned. And if for some reason Ralph Gonsalves and you have to win the next election, I want to pay close attention to what would be Ralph Gonsalves' position and Senator Martin, who's currently Deputy Speaker. I believe he has big plans for her, you know. And he's paying attention to see how things going to work out. So let's pay attention to what Pigeon said this morning, and let me find out who will emerge the leader of the UAP. Not supposed to Caesar. Yeah, he don't last the interest. When Kamala come in, he just shot the button. And then in the NDP, he's either Fitz Bamber or Maya Eustace. All the thanks for having me, and I see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, right? Tomorrow is Friday.
Pigeon, hear me now. Kingsley, don't run off yet. Kingsley, you keep putting forward Maya Eustace's name. But I have never seen anything out there saying that she has an interest. So it's why you know inside secrets hour.
Oh, you're paying attention. Let me tell you something. You know why some young people who not involved in politics because they're afraid Ralph Gonsalves in the mouth. You remember this word nepotism? Maya Eustace should have been the obvious choice to replace Anna Eustace.
But you keep saying that, but does she have an interest in it? I've never seen her. Well, I don't know if I am just not in the know enough, but I have never seen her out there in terms of showing an interest or wanting to take an active role in politics. So you're talking about nepotism with the PM and his son Camilo, but clearly in this case on the NDP side, the nepotism isn't present. Unless you know something I don't know, right?
Nepotism is not present because it was not allowed to happen. But Gonsalves, like I tell you this morning, Gonsalves has a weapon, you know, and his mouth could deter you. And the issue of Maya Eustace, give it time, and you will say, one of these days, Kingsley was right, you know. So let's keep that secret between you and I, and when it happens, you will say, boy, Kingsley was right. Who tells me? Nature tell me that. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks. Sorry, Kingsley.
Well, that was Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas there with his commentary. Just, continuing sort of from where Pigeon left off as it relates to the young and upcoming politicians. The young and upcoming politicians. Kingsley, Roleza, let me go over to you. What do you
All right, no, there was just one other thing that Kingsley said that he said that Luke Brown would not give way to Luther. And what it is that I don't know if I like hearing it in terms of somebody saying that they would not give way. is it again your personal interest or is it the interest of the constituents? Because if the constituents are asking for, and I'm not saying that this is the case with Luther, I'm just talking about constituencies generally. If persons want for a particular individual to run their constituency, then who is somebody to hold up that constituency and say that they're not giving it up? And this is what I go back again to the point of being nationalist, right? It's not about necessarily your political advancements or the fact that you've been running all this time and you are, you mean that at some point you have to win. Now, I do admire Luke for constantly putting himself up as candidate. And it also reminds me of what had happened with the PM back in the day, because the PM took several runs, quote unquote runs, before he became prime minister. So something in what Luke Brown is also doing is what it is that I see coming. Well, what had happened with the PM as well. But in terms of having people saying that somebody is not going to give up the seat, then whose agenda are you pushing? Is it the agenda of the constituents, or is it your own personal agenda and your personal goals and aspirations? So, yeah, that was just something my Kingsley run off. So
I feel like the personal thing will come in either way. I mean, we would like to believe in a lot of fairy tale things, but the reality is that is going to come in either way, because human beings.
Whose decision is it? It's not the person putting for themselves the choice of whether or not they are going to be voted. It's supposed to be the decision of the constituents. Listen, there was something that I saw in the newspaper the other day. I think it was an article from Adrian Fraser, and it was persons who wanted for John Horn to run for, what would that be, East Kingston years ago, right? And they actually had a list of the persons who, there was a letter, and persons who say that they wanted for him, and it was signed and everything. And I'm there saying, a lot of times politicians say, well, the people want for me to run. I want to see these letters of the people who want for them to run, because sometimes some of them thinking that people want for them to run, or one person tell them, or two persons tell them, and they take it up and say, okay, well, I think that I can, do a good job. However, it's not the majority of persons who are behind them. So, yeah.
They did a survey.
I want to see the letters. Show me the receipts. I want to see the receipts.
You probably need to befriend. Probably, if you could befriend them and you sit down and have a little one-on-one conversation, they'll pull out some receipts and show you. So I don't know, you can make that a mission. All right, then. What's the time? It's 7:57. We're gonna just go out and take in some music at this time, and then remember, at 8:05 we have our cup chat.
Okay, we have
a call. Okay, then go right ahead.
Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Earlier you said that the young people don't like the kind of rhetoric in politics, right? That's going on. Rhetoric. How the majority of young people don't want that?
There are some young persons who are putting themselves forward, and from my vantage point as a young person, in terms of a relatively young person, and my peer group, we don't like the nastiness. My peer group. So yeah, so if you're going to say that it may not necessarily be the majority of persons, I could take that. So let me correct it from my vantage point or from my peer group.
All right, that's all I got. That's all I want.
Queens, you all right. All right, Queens.
All right, then. So that was the man Queens Day. All right. I feel like I'm now going to go, and I don't know if I will be brave enough to ask, but I'm gonna do a survey to see how many young people actually want the kind of politics we have now, and how many are thinking, but we don't want that. We could change anything in the future. But I will remember that this old saying, mouth say anything, right? It's left for them to be in the position to actually see what will happen then. But we're gonna see. I'm trying to think of the young people that I'm around and how they feel about those things, and I'm not remembering anything like that. We generally talk about other more important things other things that we think are more important. So the party
politics.
Yeah. the party politics part. Yeah, we don't really. When I hang out with my people, we don't really hold, because these kind of discussions can get a little bit dark. And if I'm one party and you are a different party, people can get into their feelings. I mean, I'm no party, even though Mr. Marksman says he doesn't believe anybody is neutral. I am no party, Mr. Marksman, right? So we usually
voted?
Yeah, I voted the 2 times that I was able to vote.
Okay.
I don't feel like if I voted for the right reasons. I guess I just voted because I growing up and hearing about politics and voting, and I'm like, oh, it's my right to vote, so let me vote. But I have a lot more information in my system now, so my thoughts are different. I'm sorry, but I am just the kind of person, I cannot look away from the ugly, because I could see how the ugly and the corruption is damaging the world, and I simply cannot look away from that. But to each his own. I have no problem with anybody loving what they love, because there are things that I love and people don't love, so but it's all good.
But this is the thing though, Dianna, for me, and this is why maybe it is over time, I've learned to have conversations with persons who are not going to take things personal, or persons who are not going to be nasty in terms of whatever it is that I say, right? Because if amongst my peer group, we cannot speak about politics, whether are we for this side or that side, then something is wrong.
Me personally, I don't want to have the discussion, but they could have it. Like, I would not bring up that unless it's something, I don't know, that is affecting something we're doing. I wouldn't bring up that conversation, because I don't care who they're voting for. I don't care why they're voting for who they're voting for.
But in terms of a national,
generally just not interested.
But in terms of like a national issue, something has happened. Would you lend your opinion?
Yeah. If it's a national issue,
so that is
then
all part of politics.
Okay, well.
Yeah, that's all part of politics. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Then. And with that, it is now 8:01, and we're going to head out of our talk segment. Remember, just now, in a few minutes, we have our cup chat. This time check came to you by the New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of